Do not follow me, Michael, please. Claire Bennett's voice barely rose above the rain. It was 12:17 in the morning. She stood beyond the iron gates of the Callahan estate, one hand wrapped around the handle of an old suitcase, the other holding her sleeping daughter against her chest. Lucy stirred beneath Claire's cream cardigan. "Mommy, where are we going?" Claire looked down at her. For one painful second, she could not answer. Then she kissed her daughter's forehead. "Somewhere we can make our own choices." Behind them, the mansion glowed against the darkness. 3 stories of pale stone, tall windows, warm lights, more rooms than Claire could count. 3 nights earlier, that house had looked like safety. Tonight, it looked like something she needed to leave. Michael Callahan stood several yards inside the gate. At 6 feet 4 inches, he was impossible to miss, even in the rain. His dark coat was open, his chestnut brown hair damp from the weather, his face tense with questions he had not yet asked. He could have called the driver. He could have summoned security. He could have closed the gates with a telephone call. He did none of those things. "Claire." She stopped, but she did not turn around. Michael took one step forward, then caught himself. "I am not going to stop you." Claire closed her eyes. Somehow, that made leaving harder. Because Michael had never raised his voice at her, never demanded gratitude, never treated Lucy like an inconvenience. For 3 days, he had given them clean beds, warm meals, privacy, and something Claire had almost forgotten how to recognize: peace. So why was she walking away from him? Rain gathered along Claire's honey blonde hair and slipped across her full, rosy cheeks. Her white sneakers were already soaked through. Still, she tightened her hold on Lucy. At her feet was everything she had chosen to take. One suitcase, their old clothes, Lucy's worn stuffed rabbit. Nothing else. The new coat remained upstairs. So did the shoes Michael had bought after noticing Lucy's were wearing thin. Claire had not taken the money he offered. She had not taken the gifts. She had not even taken the umbrella waiting beside the guest room door. On the bed, beneath the soft yellow glow of Lucy's nightlight, Claire had left only a handwritten note. Michael would find it soon. Then he would understand. Or perhaps he would not. Claire finally looked back. Their eyes met across the rain. Michael's expression was not angry. It was wounded, and that nearly broke her resolve. 3 days ago, Claire had not known his name. She had not known he was 39 years old, or that financial magazines photographed him beside skyscrapers and called him one of America's most disciplined billionaire investors. She had only known him as the stranger who noticed a tired mother standing outside a 24-hour pharmacy with nowhere safe to take her child. He had asked one simple question: "Do you have somewhere to sleep tonight?" Claire had tried to lie. She had tried to say yes. But kindness has a way of making certain lies difficult to carry. Now, standing outside his mansion 3 nights later, Claire turned away. The suitcase wheels began rolling again, and Michael remained beneath the lights, watching the woman he had tried to protect disappear into the rain, without yet understanding that protection was exactly what had frightened her. 3 days earlier, Claire Bennett was standing beneath the narrow awning of a 24-hour pharmacy, trying to make exhaustion look temporary. Rain swept across the parking lot in silver sheets. 2 worn canvas bags sat beside her white sneakers. Lucy leaned against her side, sleepy and quiet, clutching a stuffed rabbit beneath one arm. Claire checked her telephone again. No new messages. The family shelter was full. The motel 6 blocks away cost more for one night than Claire could responsibly spend. The friend she had hoped to call was out of town. Claire slipped the telephone back into her cardigan pocket before Lucy could see her expression. "Are we going somewhere soon, Mommy?" Claire brushed a strand of hair from her daughter's face. "Yes, sweetheart. I am working on it." She hated how easily the promise came. Not because she intended to break it, because she had no idea how to keep it. The pharmacy doors opened behind them. An older woman stepped outside carrying 2 paper grocery bags. Before she reached the curb, one bag tore open. Oranges rolled across the wet sidewalk. Claire moved immediately. "Stay right here, Lucy." She hurried into the rain, gathering the fruit before it reached the parking lot. Another hand reached for the last orange at the same time. Claire looked up. The man beside her was tall enough that she had to tilt her head slightly. Dark chestnut brown hair, a charcoal overcoat, calm blue eyes. He handed her the orange. "You missed one." "Thank you." Together, they helped the woman repack everything. When the woman finally left, Claire returned beneath the awning and pulled her cardigan tighter around Lucy. The stranger remained nearby. He had noticed the bags. More importantly, He had noticed Lucy. Is someone coming to pick you up? Claire's shoulders stiffened. We are fine. He did not argue. That surprised her. Instead, he glanced toward the rain. I am Michael. Claire. His eyes moved toward Lucy. Claire instinctively stepped half a pace closer to her daughter. Michael noticed that, too. He kept his distance. I can get you a hotel room. Claire shook her head immediately. No, thank you. You would not owe me anything. I understand. Michael reached toward his wallet. Claire raised one hand. Please. He stopped. There was no irritation in his face. Only curiosity. Claire softened her voice. I appreciate what you are trying to do. I really do. But I cannot take money from someone I met 5 minutes ago. Michael slowly returned the wallet to his coat. Most people who recognized him eventually wanted something. A meeting. An introduction. An investment. Claire did not even know who he was. And somehow, while carrying almost everything she owned in 2 canvas bags, she was still more comfortable giving help than receiving it. Michael looked at Lucy, then back at Claire. Then forget the money. Claire waited. What do you actually need? For the first time that night, her composure slipped. Her ocean blue eyes lowered toward her daughter. Lucy was fighting to stay awake. Claire gently touched the child's hair. I do not need someone to fix my life. She paused. The rain filled the silence. I just need somewhere safe for my daughter tonight. Michael said nothing for several seconds. No pity crossed his face. No judgment. He simply considered her words. Then he looked across the dark parking lot, as if solving a problem he had never expected to face. When his eyes returned to Claire, something had changed. I might know a place. Claire gave him a cautious look. A shelter. Michael shook his head. No. He hesitated, perhaps realizing how impossible his next words were going to sound. My house. Claire stared at Michael. Your house. The words came out more sharply than she intended. Michael seemed to understand why. I have a guest wing, he said. 2 bedrooms, a private bathroom, and a separate entrance. You would not be staying in my personal rooms. Claire pulled Lucy a little closer. You invite women you meet outside pharmacies to live with you? No. Michael paused. That sentence sounds worse when you say it out loud. Claire almost smiled. Almost. Michael reached slowly inside his coat and removed a business card. He held it toward her without moving closer. You should know who you are considering trusting. Claire accepted it. Michael Callahan, founder and chief executive officer. Callahan Capital Group. Her eyes lifted. Callahan Capital? Yes. Claire knew the name. She had seen it on business news while folding laundry after Lucy went to bed. Real estate, technology, healthcare, investments large enough that the numbers barely felt real. She looked at Michael again. You are that Michael Callahan. I am afraid so. You are a billionaire. Michael gave a faint sigh. That is usually the least interesting thing people learn about me. Lucy raised her sleepy head. What is a billionaire? Claire closed her eyes for a second. It means Mr. Callahan has a lot of money. Lucy considered this. More than us. Claire glanced down at the 2 canvas bags. Yes, honey. A lot more. Michael looked away, trying not to smile. Claire gave him a warning glance. He immediately became serious again. Then Lucy looked toward him. Why is your house empty? Michael blinked. Claire did, too. I did not say it was empty, Michael replied. You said you have extra bedrooms. Michael seemed caught by the logic. I suppose I did. Lucy rested her cheek against Claire again. That sounds empty. The rain softened around them. Michael looked at the little girl for a moment longer than necessary. Then his voice became quieter. Sometimes it is. Claire noticed the change. Not sadness exactly. Something more practiced than sadness. Loneliness that had learned good manners. She looked toward the parking lot. There were other options. At least, she wanted there to be. Another shelter might have a cancellation. She could sit with Lucy somewhere warm until morning. She could keep calling people. But Lucy was barely keeping her eyes open. Claire had spent years learning how to endure discomfort. Her daughter should not have to learn it tonight. If we go with you, Claire said, I decide when we leave. Yes. No questions if I change my mind. Yes. I need a lock on the bedroom door. You will have one. Claire studied his face. And I am not accepting money. Michael nodded. Understood. She took a breath. Then one night. 20 minutes later, Claire sat beside Lucy in the rear seat of Michael's dark sport utility vehicle. Michael drove himself. The pharmacy lights disappeared behind them. Soon, crowded streets became quieter roads bordered by wet trees and stone walls. Then 2 iron gates appeared ahead. They opened slowly. Claire straightened. Beyond them, a long driveway curved through several acres of dark lawn. At the end stood a pale stone mansion glowing beneath the rain. Lucy woke completely. Her face moved closer to the window. Whoa! Claire could not blame her. The house was enormous, beautiful, and somehow lonely. Michael watched them briefly through the rearview mirror. Lucy turned toward him. Does a family really live here? Silence filled the vehicle. Claire looked at Michael. His hands remained steady on the steering wheel, but something in his expression changed. The mansion grew larger ahead of them. Warm windows, tall columns, too many rooms. And for the first time since meeting him, Claire realized there might be something Michael Callahan needed, too. He just did not know how to name it yet. The front door opened before Claire reached it. A woman in her early 60s stood beneath the warm entry light, dressed in dark slacks and a soft gray sweater. Mr. Callahan. Then she noticed Claire and Lucy. Michael stepped aside. Margaret, this is Claire Bennett, and this is her daughter, Lucy. They will be using the guest wing tonight. Margaret looked at their damp clothes, the two worn canvas bags, and Lucy's exhausted face. There was no judgment in her expression, only warmth. Welcome, Claire. One simple word. Claire had not expected it to hurt. Welcome. She could not remember the last time someone had said it when she had nowhere else to go. Michael reached for the canvas bags. I can carry those. I have them. I know. Claire looked at him. Michael waited. Then, reluctantly, she handed him one. Not both. His mouth almost curved into a smile. Inside, the mansion was even larger than it had appeared from the driveway. Pale stone floors reflected amber wall lights. A wide staircase curved toward the second floor. Somewhere deeper inside the house, an old clock marked the hour. Lucy tilted her head back. Mommy, their ceiling is really far away. Claire pressed her lips together. Michael failed to. A quiet laugh escaped him. Lucy looked at him seriously. Why is it so high? The house is more than 80 years old, Michael said. Apparently, people like tall ceilings. That is silly. Michael nodded. I have questioned it myself. Claire smiled before she could stop herself. The guest wing was quieter. 2 bedrooms opened into a small sitting room, with a private bathroom and a covered terrace beyond French doors. Michael placed the bag beside the dresser. This door locks from the inside. The terrace entrance does, too. Claire looked at him. You remembered. I said you would have a lock. He reached into his pocket and placed a key and small gate fob on the table. The fob lets you exit through the pedestrian gate at any hour. You do not need permission from anyone. Something in Claire's shoulders loosened. Thank you. Michael nodded. No speech. No expectation. Just an answer to something she had asked for. Lucy wandered into the smaller bedroom. A tiny nightlight glowed beside the bed. Oh, Claire followed her. Lucy touched the edge of the blanket. It is pretty. Claire turned toward Michael. You arranged the nightlight? Michael glanced toward Margaret. Margaret raised an eyebrow from the hallway. Michael cleared his throat. I mentioned that she might prefer one. Claire stared at him. At the pharmacy, while she had been calculating motel prices and wondering how many hours Lucy could stay awake, Michael had noticed something she had missed. Her daughter was afraid of unfamiliar darkness. Thank you, Claire said again. This time, the words came easier. Later, Lucy slept beneath the warm circle of that little light. Claire sat beside her, reading quietly from an old storybook until the child's breathing became slow and even. Outside the room, Michael passed through the hallway on his way downstairs. Then he stopped. He heard Claire's soft voice, the rustle of a page, a sleepy murmur from Lucy. Ordinary sounds. Small sounds. Michael stood there for several seconds. His mansion had contained expensive art, polished stone, and rooms designed for people who rarely stayed long enough to leave fingerprints. But tonight, for the first time in years, there was a mother reading to her child beneath his roof. Michael continued downstairs without disturbing them, and behind him, the enormous house no longer sounded completely empty. By the second morning, the mansion had developed a sound Michael barely recognized. Laughter. It came from the kitchen just after 7, bright and unguarded, followed by Lucy's voice protesting that one pancake looked like Texas. Michael stopped outside the doorway. Claire stood at the stove in her cream cardigan, her honey blonde hair loosely tied back. Lucy sat at the long kitchen table with crayons scattered around her plate, trying to decide whether the pancake looked more like Texas or a crooked boot. Margaret noticed Michael first. Good morning. Claire turned. Coffee. Michael blinked. People usually asked him about meetings before breakfast. No one simply asked whether he wanted coffee. Yes. Thank you. Claire poured a cup and placed it near an empty chair. Lucy immediately pointed toward it. You can sit there. Michael looked at the chair. Have I been assigned a seat? I saved it. Something about those 3 words silenced him. He sat. Claire placed a pancake on his plate. Michael took one bite, then another. Lucy watched him carefully. Good. Very. Claire glanced over her shoulder. You do not have to sound surprised. I was trying to sound grateful. You need practice. Michael smiled. The mansion had hosted senators, investors, executives, and people whose names appeared on buildings. Yet somehow, pancakes with Claire and Lucy felt more difficult to leave. Eventually, Michael checked the time. He was late. That almost never happened. As he stood, Lucy looked up. Are you coming home for dinner? Michael adjusted his cuff. I usually eat at the office. Lucy frowned. Why? He had no useful answer. Claire stepped in gently. Mr. Callahan probably has work. Lucy considered this, then looked back at Michael. You still have to eat. Michael met Claire's eyes. There was amusement there, and something warmer. I suppose that is difficult to argue with. At 6:15 that evening, Margaret heard the front door. She looked at Michael. You are home early. I live here. So I have been told. Michael ignored the smile in her voice. From the dining room came Lucy's laughter. He followed it. 3 plates waited at one end of the enormous table. Not 12. Not formal place, settings spaced several feet apart. 3. Lucy pointed proudly at the chair beside her. I saved it again. Michael removed his jacket. Then I would hate to waste your effort. Dinner was simple. Roasted chicken, mashed potatoes, green beans, warm bread. Claire told Margaret about a job interview she had scheduled for Friday. She had found it herself and said so before Michael could offer anything. He understood the boundary. So he only said, I hope it goes well. Thank you. Halfway through dinner, Michael realized his telephone had been sitting face down beside his plate for almost 40 minutes. He had not touched it once. Lucy was explaining why her stuffed rabbit needed a middle name. Claire laughed. Michael laughed with her. Nothing remarkable happened. That was what made it remarkable. Later, Lucy fell asleep on the couch with her rabbit tucked beneath her chin. Claire pulled a blanket over her. Michael stood nearby, looking from the sleeping child to the warm lights of the kitchen. This house feels different, he said. Claire looked at him. Different bad. Michael shook his head. No. He glanced around the mansion he had spent years filling with beautiful things. Then his eyes returned to her. Different alive. Claire did not answer. She only smiled. And for one quiet evening, neither of them noticed how dangerous hope could become once it started feeling like home. The third morning began with sunlight. After 2 days of rain, pale gold spilled through the mansion windows and stretched across the stone floors. Outside, Lucy chased fallen leaves across the covered terrace while Claire sat at the small desk in the guest wing, reading an email for the 3rd time. Her interview was confirmed for Friday. Claire smiled. It was not a job yet, but it was movement, and movement meant she was still building a way forward with her own hands. Before leaving for the office, Michael found them in the kitchen. I will be home for dinner. Lucy looked suspicious. You promise? Michael glanced at Claire. I have been informed that promises are taken seriously in this house. They are, Claire said. Lucy nodded. Especially dinner promises. Michael smiled. Then I promise. The front door closed behind him. Claire watched through the window as his car disappeared beyond the trees. She did not understand why that small promise made her feel safe. Hours later, she would remember it differently. Shortly after 4, Claire walked downstairs carrying an empty coffee mug. She was passing Michael's study when she heard his voice. He had returned early. Claire would have continued walking. Then she heard her name. Claire cannot know until everything is ready. Her footsteps stopped. Inside the study, another man answered. What about Lucy? Claire's fingers tightened around the mug. Michael's voice lowered. Lucy needs protection, too. Silence. Then the other man spoke again. If Claire stays here longer, we should have the legal side prepared. Claire felt something cold settle beneath her ribs. Legal side. Lucy. If Claire stays. She knew she should walk away. This was Michael's private conversation. Then came the sentence she could not ignore. Prepare everything tonight, Michael said. I do not want her worrying about it before we have something concrete. Claire stepped backward. Her heel touched the edge of the hallway rug. She looked down. A leather briefcase rested beside the console table outside the study. Next to it was a closed folder. Claire Bennett. Below her name was Lucy's. Claire stared at it. Her heartbeat quickened. The folder was close enough to touch. One movement, and she could know everything. Her hand moved toward it, then stopped. "No," she whispered. Fear did not give her the right to invade someone else's privacy. Claire lowered her hand. She walked upstairs, but the words followed her. Protection. Legal. Prepared. That evening, Michael kept his promise. He came to dinner. Lucy greeted him with a drawing and immediately began explaining why the purple shape in the corner was supposed to be a dog. Michael listened seriously. Claire tried to. She smiled when Lucy smiled. She passed the bread. She answered Michael when he asked about Friday's interview. But something inside her had shifted. For the first time, Claire noticed the security camera near the side entrance, the electronic panel beside the hallway, the high iron gates beyond the windows. 3 days ago, those things had meant safety. Tonight, they meant something else. Michael had drivers, attorneys, security, money powerful enough to change a person's life before breakfast. Claire looked across the table at him. He was helping Lucy fold her napkin into something that barely resembled a bird. Gentle, patient, kind. That almost made the fear worse. Because Claire did not believe Michael wanted to hurt her. She believed he wanted to help. And somewhere deep inside her, an older memory whispered a warning she had spent years learning not to ignore. Sometimes control did not arrive sounding cruel. Sometimes, it arrived sounding like someone saying they knew what was best for you. Claire barely touched her dinner. Lucy did not notice. She was too busy showing Michael how to turn a cloth napkin into what she insisted was a swan. Michael followed every instruction with the concentration of a man negotiating a billion-dollar contract. Claire watched them. That was the hardest part. Nothing about him looked dangerous. He was patient with Lucy, respectful with Margaret, careful with Claire. Yet the words from the study would not leave her. Legal. Protection. Everything ready. After Lucy fell asleep, Claire carried her upstairs and tucked the blanket around her shoulders. The little nightlight glowed beside the bed. "Mommy." Claire froze. Lucy had not fully opened her eyes. "Yes, sweetheart. Are we staying here tomorrow?" Claire looked toward the doorway. "I do not know yet." Lucy hugged her stuffed rabbit closer. "I like it here." Claire swallowed. "I know." She kissed her forehead and waited until Lucy was sleeping again. Then Claire stepped into the hallway. The mansion was quiet. As she walked downstairs, she noticed things she had barely considered before. The security camera above the side entrance, the electronic panel near the door, the iron gates visible beyond the windows. Michael had given her a key. He had given her a gate fob. She could leave whenever she wanted. Claire knew that. Still, power did not always need a locked door. Sometimes it was simply knowing that another person could arrange your housing, your work, your child's future, before you even knew a decision was being made. Years earlier, Claire had learned that lesson slowly. Someone had once offered to handle everything for her. The bills, the decisions, the difficult conversations. At first, it had felt like relief. Then one day, Claire realized she had stopped being asked what she wanted. She had promised herself Lucy would never grow up believing love required surrendering her voice. A sound behind her made Claire turn. Michael stood near the study doorway. His tie was gone. His sleeves rolled neatly to his forearms. "You are still awake." "So are you." Michael gave a tired smile. "Occupational hazard." Claire looked at him for several seconds. Then she asked the question that had been sitting inside her all evening. "Do you ever make decisions for people because you think you know what is best for them?" Michael's expression changed. "That is a very specific question." "It is still a question." He studied her face. Then, instead of avoiding it, he answered. "Sometimes." Claire's fingers tightened around the edge of her cardigan. Michael continued. "If I see a problem coming, my instinct is to solve it before it becomes worse. Even if nobody asked you to." He paused. "Sometimes." There it was. Claire looked away. Michael took one step forward, then stopped when he sensed her discomfort. "Claire, did something happen?" She wanted to tell him. She wanted to ask about the folder. But fear and gratitude were tangled too tightly inside her. No. Michael clearly did not believe her. Still, he respected the answer. "All right." Claire turned toward the stairs. His voice stopped her. "You do not have to keep surviving everything alone." She stood completely still. 3 days earlier, those words would have sounded like mercy. Tonight, they sounded different. Not because Michael had changed, because Claire's understanding had. She looked back at him. "Good night, Michael." "Good night, Claire." Upstairs, she closed the guest room door. Lucy slept peacefully beneath the warm light. Claire opened the closet. Their old suitcase sat on the floor. She stared at it for a long moment. Then she reached down and pulled it out. At 11:43 that night, Claire began to pack. Slowly, quietly. She folded Lucy's old shirts first, then her jeans, pajamas, and the clothes they had carried into the mansion 3 days earlier. Nothing more. The new coat Michael had arranged for Lucy remained hanging in the closet. The new shoes stayed inside their box. A small stuffed bear Margaret had placed beside the bed remained untouched. Claire looked at those things for several seconds. Then she closed the closet door. This was not punishment. She was not trying to hurt Michael. She simply needed to leave knowing she had taken nothing that could make gratitude feel like obligation. Lucy slept beneath the nightlight, one arm curled around her old stuffed rabbit. Claire sat beside her. For 3 nights, her daughter had slept without worrying about where morning would find them. That mattered. Michael's kindness mattered. And somehow, that made Claire's decision more painful. She moved to the small desk and found a sheet of paper. The first note was too angry. She tore it up. The second sounded too afraid. She tore that one up, too. The third was honest. "Michael, thank you for giving my daughter 3 nights when she did not have to be afraid. I will never forget that. But I cannot teach her that safety means giving someone else our freedom. I hope someday you understand. Claire." She left the note on the bed. At 12:17, Claire lifted Lucy carefully into her arms. The child stirred. "Mommy, I am right here. Are we going somewhere?" Claire swallowed. "Yes, sweetheart." Lucy rested her head against Claire's shoulder. "Okay. One word. Complete trust." Claire picked up the suitcase. The mansion was silent as she moved downstairs. At the side entrance, the security panel glowed softly. For 1 second, Claire hesitated. Then she remembered the small gate fob Michael had given her on the first night. "You do not need permission from anyone." She pressed it. The door released. Outside, rain had begun again. Claire crossed the long driveway with Lucy against her chest and the suitcase rolling behind her. At the pedestrian gate, she used the fob once more. The iron gate opened. No alarm. No security guard stopped her. No locked door stood between Claire and the life she had chosen. She stepped through. Then she looked back. Warm windows glowed across the mansion. For 3 days, she had almost believed she could belong there. Claire turned away. Upstairs, Michael was still in his study. Documents covered his desk. Not contracts controlling Claire's future. Options. A 6-month housing arrangement funded through an independent family foundation, waiting for Claire's approval. Childcare assistance she could accept or refuse. Employment contacts with no obligation attached. Everything designed to help Claire leave his mansion without returning to the uncertainty he had found her in. Michael believed he was protecting her independence. His mistake was believing the surprise would make the gesture kinder. When he finally went upstairs, the guest room door stood open. The bed was empty. The closet still held everything he had purchased. Then he saw the note. Michael read it once. Again. By the 3rd time, he was no longer reading. He was understanding. He had prepared housing. Work contacts, childcare, security, everything Claire might need, everything except her permission. Michael looked toward the rain beyond the window. His first instinct was to find her, bring the car, make sure Lucy was warm, solve the problem. His hand reached for his telephone, then stopped. That instinct was exactly what had sent Claire away. Michael slowly lowered the telephone. For the first time in years, the man who could arrange almost anything understood that some things could not be arranged. They had to be asked for. Michael waited until morning. Every instinct told him to act sooner. Instead, he sent Claire one message. "I owe you an apology. I will not come looking for you. If you are willing to speak with me, tell me where and when. I will come alone." Claire read it twice. Lucy was beside her in the small motel room, coloring at the table while morning traffic moved beyond the window. Claire looked at her daughter. Then she typed an address. 10:30. Outside. Michael arrived at exactly 10:29. No driver. No attorney. No security. He stepped out of his car and stopped several feet from Claire. "I am sorry." Claire had prepared herself for explanations. She had not expected those words first. Michael continued. "You heard part of my conversation yesterday." Claire nodded. "I heard enough to be afraid, but not enough to know what I was doing." "No." Michael accepted that. and that is my fault." He explained everything. The housing arrangement was not a lease signed in Claire's name. It was an option funded through an independent family foundation, available only if she wanted it. The childcare assistance was optional. The employment contacts were introductions, nothing more. Michael had deliberately kept his name away from the hiring decisions. Claire listened quietly. "You were preparing for us to leave? If that was what you wanted, then why hide it?" Michael looked down for a moment. "Because I thought presenting you with a complete solution would feel generous." His eyes returned to hers. "I was trying to give you choices. I should have asked what choices you wanted." Claire's expression softened. "Not completely, but enough." Lucy looked up from her crayons. "Are you mad at Mommy?" Michael crouched, remaining where he was. "No." "Because we left?" "No." Lucy thought about that. "Are you sad?" Michael glanced at Claire. "Yes." Lucy nodded. Sadness, apparently, was acceptable. 3 weeks passed. Claire went to her interview. She got the job herself. She accepted one of the housing options only after reviewing everything independently and arranging a repayment plan she could afford. Michael did not argue. He did not send expensive gifts. He did not appear without asking. Sometimes he called. Sometimes Claire called first. Trust returned differently than before. Slower. Stronger. Built from choices instead of rescue. One Saturday morning, Michael heard the estate gates opening. He stepped outside. Claire's car came slowly up the driveway. Lucy jumped out first. "Michael!" She ran toward him, then stopped when one shoelace came loose. Michael smiled and knelt. "Hold still." Lucy placed a hand on his shoulder while he tied it. Claire walked toward them, her honey blonde hair moving gently in the autumn breeze. Michael stood. For a moment, neither spoke. Then he noticed the keys in Claire's hand. Her keys. Her apartment. Her life. "You came back," he said. Claire looked toward the mansion. The first time she had crossed those doors, she had been carrying everything she owned. Today, there was no suitcase, no desperation, no debt she believed she had to repay with obedience. She looked at Michael. "We came for pancakes." Lucy immediately corrected her. "And lunch." Michael smiled. "I suppose I can negotiate that." Claire laughed. Then they walked toward the house. Michael did not lead. Claire did not follow. They walked beside each other. The first time Claire entered his home, she needed shelter. The second time, she needed nothing from him at all. And that was how Michael finally understood the difference between being needed and being chosen.